What up, what up, what up? It's K.Honesty, and I'm about to do a review of Bel-Air Season 3, Episodes 7 and 8. So if you have not seen Episodes 7 and 8 of Season 3 of Bel-Air, turn this video off and go watch those episodes and come back and watch this review. And please like and subscribe to the channel. It's a simple and free way to support my channel. I can't stress enough how much liking and subscribing helps my channel in a big way. I'm not a public speaker. I will tend to fumble my words and say and so and like 1,000 times. I may stop to regain my thoughts. I may slow my speaking down to regain my thoughts. And anything I say is my opinion. It does not reflect anyone or anything associated with the show. Of course, I will be looking at my notes over here that I take throughout the show. And yeah, comment below what you would grade these 2 episodes and what you thought of these 2 episodes. If I forgot anything, let me know in the comments. If I'm off on anything, let me know in the comments, because I'd be missing stuff as I'm watching it. And yeah, I like to grade the episodes before and after my reviews. Of course, we're gonna start with episode 7, and then I will give an alert before I start talking about episode 8, just in case you haven't seen episode 8. And of course, I will leave the timestamp in the description to let you know when I start talking about episode 8, just in case you haven't seen episode 7 and you only seen episode 8 for some reason, which is weird. But hey, I mean, people do their things differently. But for now, I'm going to get into Bel-Air Season 3, Episode 7, and I'm going to grade the episode. These 2 episodes was pretty good. This episode had me like, oh my God, like, no. So I'm going to have to give it like a B+. This episode 7, I would give it a B+. I enjoyed it. And yeah, of course, comment below, like and subscribe. Let me know what you felt about episode 7. And yeah, we're going to get into episode 7. Sorry that I'm like 2 days late. I know the episodes dropped on Thursday, but you know, like I always say, life be lifing, so I'm getting them to y'all as quick as I can. We're going to start with episode 7. So last chance, if you haven't seen Bel-Air Season 3, episode 7, turn this video off because I'm about to spoil the entire episode. Okay, so episode 7 begins with Viv and Phil packing for vacation to go to Punta Mita. And, you know, Viv is nervous about leaving Carlton alone for the first time since he got out of rehab. And I just wanted to point out one thing. Is it me or every time Viv is around Carlton, she, like, I mean, not Viv around Carlton. Every time Viv is with Phil, she always had, like, these oldish auntie-type hairstyles for some reason. But, like, when she going out by herself or, like, if she just doing something on her lonesome, she be having these bomb-ass, like, young-looking hairstyles. And I don't understand it. Like, some of these hairstyles she be having be looking dumb, and then some of them might be like, oh, she look good. Why she don't keep that hairstyle? Like, but I just wanted to point that out for a quick second. I don't know what they be doing with Viv's hairstyles and shit, but yeah, I just wanted to point that out. So, Jeffrey, of course, is giving them the boys, Will and Carlton, a stern look, like ain't shit happening this weekend, ain't nothing going down. And yeah, you know, as Phil and Viv are about to leave, but before they leave, Omar Candle pops up, and, you know, he's furious about Yolanda Porter. And Will hears Yolanda Porter, and he's like, oh, that's I met her. That's Jazz's homie or whatever. So he trying to figure out what's going on, and Phil's like, nah, you don't need to know. Let's talk in my office, Omar. So, and in Phil's office, Omar, you know, he's sharing his frustrations with the protesters, and now the construction has been halted. So Phil, you know, he tells him, like, basically your only option would be to arrest the protesters for, like, trespassing and other things they doing. And which Phil is kind of like, you don't want to do that because the people are already against you. And if you do that, then they're going to be more against you. But Omar just don't give a fuck because he want to get this money and he want to get this project built. So Omar's like, fuck it. He tells Phil, do that. Call the police. Call the police on these protesters and then take your ass on vacation like the white man would do. And that's exactly what the fuck Phil does. So Will stops by Charlie's to drop off some Black Cess merch, where he finds the protesters are there having a get-together about Omar Campbell. And, you know, Yolanda brings up Uncle Phil, so Will's like, oh, I'm staying here what this meeting is about then. So Phil and Viv, and LaMarcus's parents, they arrive in Punta Mita, and Phil and Viv run into this couple that they know who seem to be like very open in their relationship. So they all decide to hang out together. So Will finds out that Phil tried to get Jazz to sell, but of course Jazz not going for it. He finds this out at the meeting, and Yolanda suggests that they take some type of legal action. But then another guy, he wants to go like a different route, a more dangerous, violent route. And Will pulls Jazz to the side, and he's like, I could talk to Uncle Phil. We can sort this out and save Charlie's and whatnot. And Jazz is like, well, your uncle's only trying to do what's best for Omar, for his client. He tells Will, you might as well just get up out of here. I don't want you involved in what we about to get into. So now we get to see as Carlton, he's bringing in things for their little get-together that they're going to have at the house. Will, he's talking about the meeting and how he feels like he and Carlton might be on the wrong side. Because, like, we didn't start Black Success for this. We started it for this reason and whatnot. Carlton, of course, is on his father's side. He's like, my father's always on the right side of history. Whatever he's doing, it's got to be for the positive. Starts listing all the pros about the project. Not really hearing Will out and things like that. So it's kind of starting to put them at odds. So back in Punta Mita, the guys are separated from the girls, and they sitting, briefly talking about Phil's client, talking about Omar Campbell and the press he's getting and whatnot. And, how hard it is to be a successful Black man, but also kind of like trying to look out for your people without seeming like a sellout and things like that. And then Phil starts to briefly share with them his problems that he's having with Viv. So then Will, he stops by Omar's office, basically in hopes of getting Omar to help him save Charlie's, which we knew was a no-go because he tried to buy it. So Omar's just like, he doesn't budge. He makes a point, which is sad to say, but he tells Will, like, I bet you it's dudes in Philly that would kill to have your position that Phil gave you, and did you give it up just because everybody couldn't come with you? So it kind of makes that point to Will, and Will kind of sees like, but he's still against Omar buying Charlie's. So then back in Punta Mita, this couple that I forgot their name, Tiana and I forgot the guy's name or whatever, but he's telling LaMarcus's dad and Phil about how him and his wife have an open relationship, how she paid for him to get a happy ending and she watched, and talking about how he's on Viagra and they should try it, just basically telling them about how he and his wife keep their relationship spicy. So then the ladies, they at this nude beach in the resort, and the woman Tiana, she's filling LaMarcus's mom and Viv in on things about her open relationship with her husband, how she has like a little boy toy that she sleeps with that's younger or whatever, basically telling the ladies how they keep their relationship spicy. And then she urges them to, like, because they had a nude side of the resort, so urges Viv and LaMarcus's mom to like sit out there topless like the other woman was doing. I was like, oh, not they showing boobies on Bel-Air. I was like, oh, it caught me off guard. I was like, not boobies on Bel-Air. So Jeffrey has Penelope over at the Banks mansion, showing her around and whatnot. Carlton comes over, trying to like, it's so obviously trying to convince Jeffrey to get Penelope out of the house for the day. And Jeffrey, of course, is not stupid, so he's like, yeah, I'll take Penelope out, but you and your little friends better be out of here by 11:59. So, of course, you can't get nothing past Jeffrey. If you could, then Jeffrey wouldn't be Jeffrey. He catch on to shit too quick. So, as Viv and Phil walking around the resort, they giggling about, the stories they done heard from the open couple about the happy ending and having the boy toy and whatnot. And they basically come to an agreement that on this trip they're gonna be open to new things, kind of open to anything. So we back at the mansion, and the girls arrive, Amira and Lisa. They got these shorts that say something about I love my boyfriend or something, and they get these matching shirts for the boys. Next thing you know, the carpet cleaning dude, Zaire, I finally learned his name this episode. He shows up with Jackie, and it's like super awkward. And this is when Will's like, you know, because Jackie's like, I can leave if it's awkward. And Will's like, no. He tells Lisa, you know, like, Jackie really came through for me with Black Sass. And then and he's like, you know, Jackie's the homie. And then he tells Jackie, like, look, Lisa's my girl now. Ain't nothing gonna come between that. Basically letting them know what is what. It's still awkward. Then Lisa apologizes to Jackie for, you know, the way she went at her at the street racing, calling her a bitch and all that. So Jeffrey and Penelope, they at this Jamaican spot, and you can see that they kind of starting to flirt with each other. Penelope's asking him if he got a girlfriend, and he's like, you know, I had a couple of friends here and there, but they never measured up to you, basically. And then here comes a messy ass Amira. I knew I ain't like his damn girlfriend for a reason. We gonna get to that, but her messy ass, she comes, suggests that they play a game that her and Carlton and the people at rehab used to play called Heal and Reveal. And, you know, starts asking them stuff that they haven't told anybody before. And Will, you know, he starts sharing his feelings about not feeling like he is supporting his people the way he should be, especially with this Black-owned brand that he's creating. And Lisa shares how she's overwhelmed with, like, having to watch her baby brother all the time and trying to make it to nationals. And, you know, Will's like, I didn't know that was going on with you. And Amira's like, Lisa, you shouldn't be doing this alone. And I was just like, at first I was like, damn, Amira, do you want to fuck Lisa? Because the way you keep coming to Lisa's defense is crazy. That was my first thought before we actually found out what was going on with her ass. So back in Punta Mita, all the couples are hanging out. LaMarcus's mother starts to ask ask the couple, Tiana and the other guy, when did you guys open your marriage up? So they started talking about, you know, how they went to therapy and how things, like, basically how things just started to get better when they opened their relationship up. And then next thing you know, all the guys, they start, I guess a lot of their frat buddies was there. They get up and do a dance from their frat to the, you know, that song, Fuck Them Other Nicks, because I'm down for my nick. It was a funny little moment. So then everybody back at the mansion, everybody is chilling in the jacuzzi. They playing this game again. It's like a guessing game. I mean, like, you pick something from a jar, you ask a question. So this is when everybody who didn't know finds out that Carlton lost his virginity to Lisa back when they was dating. And then we find out that Lisa and Will fucked. I mean, not Lisa and Will and Jackie fucked. I didn't know that. I was like, when did Jackie and Will fuck? I knew they had their little flirting going on. I knew they kissed a couple times maybe. I didn't know that they smashed, but we find that out in the jacuzzi. So then, back to the Jamaican spot with Jeffrey and Penelope. They having a good time. And, you know, Penelope starts, like, talking about going back to London because she got a brand new gig and whatnot. And then Penelope accidentally bumps this guy who, like, responds so unnecessarily, like, extra as shit hell. Penelope immediately says, my bad. And this nigga like, watch where you going. So Jeffrey, you know, he gets up in the dude face. We got a problem, brethren. Like, you know how Jeffrey is. Like, nigga, step off. So Penelope has to come and, like, intervene, hold Jeffrey back. She's like, don't worry about it. It was me. So then back at the mansion, Zaire and Jackie leave, and Amira, you know, she, and it's like, it's the perfect thing that Lisa said later on in this episode. But for now, Zaire and Jackie leave. Amira points out, although not wrong, it's just the way that she comes at motherfuckers. So she points out how Will, like, kind of avoids awkward situations. Every time something awkward gets brought up, Will tries to avoid it with something like drinks or karaoke or something like that. So Carlton, you know, he gets up trying to diffuse the situation between Amira and Will, but he's kind of defending Amira. He's like, I mean, she's not wrong. And then Lisa kind of agrees with Amira too without saying too much, which pisses Will off. So he decides that he gets mad and he walks away. So then this is the scene where I was like, no. So we back in Punta Mita, And Phil and Viv are in the pool with the open couple, Tiana and I can't remember his goddamn dude name for the life of me, but they in the pool and she's like, you know, my husband finds you sexy. So Viv goes over there with the husband, and then the wife Tiana, Viv's like, give Phil some company. Goes over there with Phil, and I'm just like, no, don't get to swinging. I don't like that. I was like, no, it's like watching my uncle and auntie. I was like, no. I was like, Uncle Phil and Aunt Viv ain't never did this shit in the sitcom. I know this is the new modern one, but I was just like, no, not my Uncle Phil and Aunt Viv. I was really thrown off by that. I was like, no. So back at the little Jamaican pub, the guy that Penelope bumped, he comes in the bathroom trying to fake check Jeffrey. And then Jeffrey was about to leave it alone till the nigga calls Penelope a bitch. Next thing you know, Jeffrey gets his ass real quick, throws his ass in the stall. It's like, what you thought? You call my girl a bitch? Call my baby mama a bitch? So then we go back to Punta Mita and the couple. Then Viv and Phil join the damn couple in their room for a nightcap. And I was like, no. I was like, at least they didn't show it. But no, we don't want to see you guys swinging. I see you swinging. No. I was like, no. I just kept saying, no. Why are they doing this to us? So, back at the mansion, Lisa and Will, they make up. And, you know, Will tells Lisa, you know, I want you to open up to me and tell me what's wrong in your life and things like that. I don't want you to hide things from me. And Lisa's like, well, okay, I will. But I also want you to check on me even when I don't say anything. So then Carlton comes in, interrupts. Lisa leaves. Will asks Carlton, like, where does he stand on the whole Omar Campbell project? And Carlton, you know, he's like, it's not my father's fault that Jazz couldn't pay his taxes. So we see where he stands, basically. And Will's just like, you will never get it. You too privileged. He's like, you know what? I know what I got to do. So everybody's like, what the fuck does that mean? Carlton's like, what the fuck does that mean? Like, what do you mean? We know what you got to do, Will. So then we cut away to Lisa and Amira. You know, they talking about the games that they were playing. You know, Lisa's like, you know, it was uncomfortable, but it helped a lot. It helped me and Will open up to each other. And Amira's like, well, you know, you shouldn't be going through this alone and whatnot. And in that moment, I thought Amira was about to try to make a move on Lisa, like try to kiss her or something. Because I'm thinking like, damn, do you want Lisa the way you be defending the fuck out of her? I get being a friend, but like, it was just like, damn, bitch. So Lisa's like, you know, Amira, you got some lotion? And Amira's like, yeah, it's in my bag. So Lisa goes in the bag and finds Coke in the damn bag. And this is the perfect moment. She was like, you out here trying to make everybody express their feelings and shit to hide what you really going through. Like, you out here coked up and shit, but trying to get everybody else to expose their shit. So I was like, yeah, that's exactly what it is. So then Amira's like, you know, I just bought the Coke. I didn't plan on using it. I haven't used it. Then she's like, you know, I've been going through it a lot. And Lisa's like, well, what's going on with you? So this bitch lies and talk about something. It's the anniversary of my sister's death. The same shit she told Viv when she missed the dinner that day. And I was watching. I was like, hold on, is this the same day as the dinner? It can't be. So I was like, so this bitch just keep using that as an excuse. You using your sister's death as an excuse. So Lisa kind of like softens up and is like, you know, I understand. You know, you can lean on me. I lean on you. And she makes Amira dump the Coke out. And then Amira she makes Lisa promise not to tell Carlton. And I'm just like, this is about to be some shit. Because, you know, she fuck with Carlton. Like family. So back in Punta Mita, Viv and Phil get back in their suite. And, you know, they like, I can't believe we almost let a couple talk us into seducing us. And I was like, oh, okay. I was like, they didn't do it. Thank goodness. I was like, no, because I didn't want that to happen. So they didn't end up swinging. They just had a little frisky moment with them. And it seemingly turned them on. So they get in there, they start kissing and shit. And Viv's like, let's do it on the balcony. I don't care who sees. So they kind of got their freak back. Because they were, you know, they hadn't done it in like 2 months. So they got their groove back in Punta Mita. So back at the little Jamaican pub, Penelope notices the guy that got rude with her coming out the bathroom holding his throat after Jeffrey done fucked him up. And she's like, you never did like a bully. And, Jeffrey's like, I mean, seeming like it turned Penelope on. So she's like, I could stay in LA a little longer. I don't have to go back to London just yet. And I'm like, she shouldn't go back to London because Jeffrey sent that money instead of sending himself, which is what the gang wanted. And she might go back, or Frederick might go back, and they might try to threaten them because they back in London and he's not, and Jeffrey's not. But she's like, yeah, I could stay in LA for a little while longer. So then they begin dirty whining, and they start kissing. And I'm like, oh, snap, Jeffrey done got his old thing back. Then we get this scene where Amira's in Carlton's room, and of course, obviously about to do the nasty. She's like, you couldn't wait to get me in your room. So then the protesters, they, along with Jazz, they break into, you notice how Yolanda Porter wasn't there. She's like, I'm running for city council. I can't be doing this crazy shit. But they break into the Omar Campbell project and they begin vandalizing the property. And then the one dude that was at the meeting talking about we need to take matters to our own hands, he fucking starts lighting shit on fire. And Jazz pulled his mask up and like, what is you doing? And then we cut away to this last scene where Will's in the house and he hides his face mask in the little box of memorabilia that Lou left, that his father left him. So it's just like, damn, Will was there. They didn't show Will being there with them, but he was obviously there if he had a ski mask because that's what they was wearing. And that's how the episode ends. And I was like B+ because them Aunt Viv and Uncle Phil scenes, they had me flushed. I was just like, no, why? I was like, why are they doing this to us? And we finally exposed Amira ass. I knew that bitch was high. I knew I didn't trust her. I knew I didn't like her ass. I knew her ass I was like, she always looked high. And I was like, maybe that's just how she looked, but I knew that bitch was high. So that's why I was like, I would have to give this episode a B+. It was a good episode. We're going to get into episode 2. Let me just write this timestamp. We're going to do 22. Oh, wait. Of course, like, subscribe, and comment below what you thought of episode 7. Of course. Let me write the timestamp. So we about to start talking about episode 8. I'm going to do 2240. That's what I'm going to do, 2240. Okay. Yeah. So now we about to start talking about Bel-Air Season 3, Episode 8. So if you haven't seen Episode 8 of Bel-Air of Season 3, turn this video off and go watch it and come back and watch this video. And like and subscribe and comment below what you thought of Episode 8 and 7 if you've seen Episode 7 and what you would grade it. I would grade Episode 8. I would grade Episode 8 a B+ too. It was a good episode. It was like... It wasn't as good as episode 7. I'm going to probably give it a B-. I can't really remember everything that happened on this episode. So for now, I'm going to give it a B-, but we'll see when I get to the end of it. So this is Bel-Air Season 3, Episode 8. If you haven't seen it, I'm about to spoil it, so you might want to turn this off right now. So Episode 8 begins. LaMarcus is out of the hospital. And he and Hillary are chopping it up with Will and Carlton as they pack up more merch. And, they asking, Will and Carlton are asking Hillary about the deal that she just signed and, like, what's going on with that. And LaMarcus realizes Hillary's hesitation and points out, she hasn't really had time for business because she's been catering to me and whatnot. And, Hillary changes the subject and she points out to LaMarcus he's supposed to be asking them something. So LaMarcus asks Will and Carlton to be groomsmen in his wedding. And, of course, they say yes. So the next thing as Will, Viv, and Carlton are in the kitchen talking about the wedding, Phil comes in. He starts talking about the arson at the Campbell project. And I'm just like, damn, Will, try not to look so damn obvious. Looking nervous as hell. So then when Phil brings up Yolanda Porter, Carlton's like, well, hot ass. This nigga's hot on the sitcom back in the day and hot on here. So he's like, well, I think Will might know something about that. So Phil's like, Will? And Will's like, oh, no, I just, when I was dropping off some merch at Jazz's shop, they was having a peaceful little gathering meeting talking about next steps. That's it. So then Omar and the DA, Lisa's dad, DA Wilkes, they show up at the mansion. Phil He was like, Will, how about you join us since you might have some useful information. I'm just like, damn, Carlton, hot ass nigga. You can't tell this nigga everything, Will. Because he didn't grow up like you. He don't get it. So Lisa's dad, DA, he starts questioning Will about the meeting, like how many people was there, what was they talking about, this, that, and the third. You know, Will stands firm that it was just a peaceful little meeting and it was no mention of vandalism or arson or anything like that. From what he heard, it wasn't because, you know, he left before anything got talked about. So then Jeffrey comes in after they tell Will he can leave out, but as Will is leaving, he hears Jeffrey tell them, you know, the grocery store across the street got camera footage. So we might have caught him on camera. So Lisa's there with her dad, and Carlton's telling her, you know, it's me and Amira's 2-month anniversary. And he starts showing Lisa this Cartier necklace he bought for Amira. And Lisa's like, you don't think you guys are moving too fast? And Carlton gets defensive. You know, he's like, you of all people should know how hard it's been for me. And I'm finally happy, this, that, and the third. So Lisa kind of just like backs down. And she's like, you know what? I'm sorry, Amira's going to love the gift. Because, you know, she made that promise to Amira. I would have snitched on her ass. Because what's more important? Your friend that you've known since you was kids, sobriety, or this bitch you just met that already been acting an asshole anyway. But I feel like Lisa feel like she owe Amira because Amira been going to bat for her against Will and against Jackie and all the other shit. So Ashley and her friend Eli, they gathering things to, you know, go to the country club. And Phil comes in. He pulls Ashley to the side. He's like, that skirt is a little too short. And it makes me uncomfortable. And, you know, Ashley gets smart. I don't dress for your comfort. And Phil's like, I'm just looking to see who the fuck you think you talking to. Because you ain't talking to me. He's like, go change now. He don't say it like that. But he basically stern and like, bitch, go change. So then he starts to try to question Eli. Viv comes in, intervenes. And she's like, Eli, go pack the car up. And, you know, she tells Phil, you know, Eli has a boyfriend. And that, you know, I'll be there the whole time to chaperone the two of them. So nothing's going to happen. So then Will, he's blowing up Jazz's phone, trying to tell him about the cameras. And he's about to pull out his face mask. And Carlton storms in his room and starts asking what's going on. Then Will, nut-ass, tells Carlton about what happened. About the vandalism and the shit and all that. And I'm just like, why would you even tell Carlton after he just bombed your ass out at breakfast? Like, you know this nigga is hot. I wouldn't be telling his ass nothing. You know he don't get it. So Carlton starts going off on Will, like, why would you even participate? Da-da-da-da. And Will's like, well, at least I picked a side. And, you know, they go back and forth. And Carlton's like, well, if you don't tell my father, I will. And I'm just like, now you got to snitch on yourself. Because if you don't, he going to tell him. So now we at the country club. Lisa runs into Viv. And, you know, Lisa's sharing with Viv how overwhelmed she's been watching her baby brother. And how her stepmom isn't really, like, helping. And how her dad's always at work and things like that. So Viv's like, is there anything I can do to help? And Lisa's like, well, I would love it if you could talk to my dad for me. So now we at this gym, and Q, he has all the interns there, and he's having them work out their nerves before the investor day, which is the next day, and introduces them to the first African-American female WWE star, the headline, which is Bianca Bel-Air. I had never heard of her until I seen her on Celebrity Family Feud a couple of weeks ago. But she comes in, gives them some words of encouragement and whatnot. Then we cut away to the country club. Eli and Ashley, they sitting snuggled up under a cover, sitting on the same beach chair, taking little selfies. And Eli's telling her, you know, his boyfriend kind of checked out of the relationship since Eli was always the happy-go-lucky one. And when things got serious, the boyfriend kind of like checked out. So Ashley starts to relate, talks about how Olivia always wanted the happy side of Ashley as well. So, as they taking selfies, you know, he puts his arm around Ashley. Viv comes over and is like, you know, there's enough beach chairs for you guys not to be sharing one. So, you know, Ashley's like, Mom, and she pulls Viv aside, and she's like, you know, you guys never had this problem when it was me and Olivia. You used to let her spend the night and whatnot. And Viv's like, well, I'm just trying to, it's just hard for us with you to figure out who's a friend, who's not a friend. So Ashley reassures Viv that her and Eli are just friends and there's nothing more. So then back in the gym, Bianca Bel-Air, she shows the interns like this WWE move, and Carlton and Will start to get serious and start wrestling, and Q has to come over and intervene. He's like, is everything good? Because I don't want things to blow up for y'all tomorrow in front of investors. And they're like, yeah, Black Sets all the way. We good. Even though things are not good with them. So then Hillary and LaMarcus, they meet with the agency that I think Hillary's supposed to have signed to. And instead of them like helping her with cooking deals and things like that, and the things that she is passionate about, they want to kind of capitalize, market off of her and LaMarcus's love story and their wedding and all that type of things. And Hillary is not feeling it. And she's basically telling their ass, like, you want to earn your commission? Give me the shit that I asked for, which is my cookbook and cooking deals and things that I want to do as far as cooking, not my love story. So then we get this same Phil and Omar. They're meeting with the investors of the Omar Campbell project. And the investors are expressing their concerns about the press and the protesters and Yolanda Porter of it all. And how they're hemorrhaging money from them. And, you know, they tell Omar they want to renegotiate. They present Omar and Phil with a new proposal. And they tell them basically, like, if you don't agree with this new proposal, we just going to cut our losses and back out of the project. So Viv, she goes to see Lisa's dad, D.A. Wilkes, and she starts telling him about Lisa being overwhelmed and points out how she thinks his wife may have postpartum depression because she dealt with it herself. Lisa's dad gets defensive, and he's like, you know, I know how to take care of my household. You worry about your household. Basically, he's like, I got to get back to work. Basically, brushes Viv off and everything that she wanted to talk about. So Will, he's frustratedly waiting for Carlton so they can discuss their game plan for Investor Day. Carlton comes in and tells Will about the investors threatening to back out of the Campbell project, and Will feels bad. And he's like, well, let me go talk to Uncle Phil. And Carlton's like, no, we need to focus on our pitch for tomorrow. And you can focus on that shit tomorrow after we sold our pitch, and you can tell my dad what you did. I'm just like, look at this geeking ass nigga making sure that Will don't forget he got to snitch on himself. So Viv, she's sitting down with Phil as he's frustrated about the whole meeting with the investors, and she tells him that, you know, her meeting with Lisa's dad didn't go well. And then, like, in my opinion, Phil kind of like sided with Lisa's dad. You know, he's like, well, you know, he got a teenage daughter, baby, and a stressful job. And I'm like, yeah, but that still don't mean neglect your daughter's feelings. Even though Lisa's dad don't know that Lisa sent Viv to talk to him, it's still like you don't neglect your daughter's feelings and how she's feeling. She's feeling overwhelmed, and you need to find a way to help, or at least get your wife to help, or get your wife some help, because she might have the postpartum depression. But I was just like, the way Phil came about it, I was just like, damn, you ain't siding with Viv in this situation? You just told Hillary a couple episodes ago that she should speak up when she feel like something ain't right, and this is what your wife doing. And you basically sided with Lisa's father. So then Phil, you know, he tells her Viv about the investors threatening to back out, and how his firm would take a big hit if they lose that project. And, you know, he's talking about some of the things that he don't agree with the project. And, you know, Viv, of course, is telling him to, you know, fight for what he believes in, what he stands for, like, you know, his integrity and things like that. So at the country club, Lisa, she tells Will about finding the drugs in Amira's bag, and how she promised Amira that she wouldn't tell Carlton. And Will's like, you don't have to go through this alone. You know what? After the pitch, we're gonna tell them together. So Omar's at Phil's office, and, you know, Phil is telling Omar about his reservations about the new proposal that the investors offered, and Omar is more concerned about closing the deal and not hemorrhaging more money So he tells Phil, like, look, I don't give a fuck. I'm signing this new deal as long as I could keep getting my money and this project can go through. So Phil, of course, standing on what he believed in, he parts ways with Omar. He's like, I guess this is the end of the road for us. So Amira shows up at the country club trying to, wish Carlton good luck before their pitch. And Will basically, not in so many words, he doesn't specifically say it, but he lets Amira know that he knows about the coke that Lisa found in her bag. And, he tells her Carlton don't know, but he don't know yet. Like, basically, he going to tell Carlton. And Amira's like, Will, you just feel threatened because he's been closer to me, and tells Will that who you think he going to believe, me or you. And at the moment, he might do believe Amira because of the fact that Carlton and Will are at odds right now. Then we cut away to Eli singing this song that he wrote for Ashley, and then he expresses his feelings for Ashley. He's like, maybe your parents are so tense about me because they see the feelings that I have for you. And Ashley all smiling. So I'm just like, well, you just told your mom that you guys were strictly friends. So what are you going to do now, Ashley? So Q, he comes out, he lets all the interns know, Will and Carlton, he lets everybody know, the investors are out there, they ready to hear from you guys. Carlton is all angsty because he's like, Amir should have been here to wish me good luck. And Will's like, well, let's just worry about the pitch right now. So then we cut away to Amira, who confronts Lisa about telling Will. She's like, I should have known you wouldn't keep a secret because you can't even, or I should have known you wasn't going to come through for me because you can't even come through for yourself. Like, basically just trying to come at Lisa, saying she's not a good friend or whatever, no girl code or whatever the case may be. But girl, it's not about girl code. It's the fact that she knew Carlton longer and she cares for Carlton. Unlike you, who's putting him in this predicament in the first place. So LaMarcus, Phil, and Viv, they surprise Hillary at the mansion with this pop-up proposal, another proposal where LaMarcus asks Hillary to elope. That way the blogs and shit won't even know about their wedding, and she can just move on and focus on her cooking shit, and he can focus on his his football shit. And of course she says yes, surprisingly. So I'm just like, we just won't forget about what happened between her and Jazz. There's nothing there now. There's nothing there now. Oh, excuse me. So right before Carlton and Will are called up to pitch their business plan to the investors, Carlton sees a text on Will's phone from Lisa saying, what did you say to Amira? She's pissed. And Carlton's like, yeah, Will, what did you say to Amira? And Will's like, nothing. And he's like, you know what? It isn't nothing, but we have to wait till after the pitch so I can tell you. And Carlton's like, no, tell me now. So Will tells Carlton about Lisa finding the drugs in Amira's bag. Carlton, stupid ass, looks stuck on stupid, which is why he was saying he wanted to wait till after the pitch to tell your dumb ass. And Q calls them to the stage, calls them out there to the investors. So Will goes out there, he's not the best at the what's the word? At the professional part of things. So he go out there and start pitching how he know how, doing some goofy shit. The investors don't look like they feeling it, and then Carlton comes out there to the rescue, and they end up delivering their pitch, which everybody claps, so it seems to be good. So then Jeffrey goes to Phil, and he's like, there's been a development in the vandalism case, and Phil's like, I don't even care because I done parted ways with Omar, and Jeffrey tells Phil, you might want to know because they just arrested Jazz for being at the scene of the arson, because remember, Jazz lifted his mask up, so that's probably how they got his ass on camera. So it's the final scene after the pitch is over. Carlton is calling the mirror, getting no answer. He confronting Lisa and Will about not telling him. Talking about what you thought I couldn't handle it. He's mad at them. And Carlton ends up checking her location to find that Amira is still somewhere around in the country club. So they go start searching around for her. And Amira done fell. She's high up. She fell into the pool. And they find her in the pool drowning. And Carlton and Lisa dig her up out of the pool, and they do CPR, and they give her a Narcan shot because she apparently was high, and she comes back to consciousness, and that's how the episode ends. And I was just like, Yeah, I would give this episode a B-. It wasn't as good as 7, but it was good. But I was just like, you know, Uncle Phil and Aunt Viv ain't gonna want you fucking with that girl no more. It don't matter if she get clean or whatever. They not gonna want you fucking with her no more because she been sitting in people's faces lying and shit. They not gonna fuck with that. I wonder what Phil gonna do about Jazz being arrested. I wonder if he gonna try to help save Charlie, even though he just tried to get Jazz to sell out. So it's a whole lot of pieces involved. I wonder what's gonna happen when Will come clean about being there at the scene of the crime. Luckily, he didn't get caught on camera. He wasn't dumb enough to lift his mask up like Jazz did. I wonder if Yolanda Porter was actually involved in them going to do that shit. Because what kind of city council tells you to go vandalize something? I don't know. But we shall see what's going to happen with that. And I'm hoping Lisa's dad takes some initiative and sits down and talks with her and his wife and tries to get some type of agreement with that situation. But yeah, those are my little thoughts or what have yous for episode 8. And again, like I said, I would grade it a B-. But of course, leave in the comments what you would grade episode 8 and episode 7 if you watched, and what you thought of both episodes or just one episode of the other or whatever. And like and subscribe to my channel. Help me get to over 300 subscribers, which isn't even a lot. You know, I want 300 million, but we're going to start with 300. So liking and subscribing helps in a big way. Did I mention that it's free? Did I mention that it's simple? It's so quick and so free and so simple. Can't stress that enough. Like, subscribe, comment below. Thanks for watching. See y'all in the next review. Peace.